Camaro, Mustang, Corvette, even Viper. The newly improved Trans Am Championship now with more cars and more muscle.
They're loud and fast and a lot of fun to drive.
The 100-mile sprint format, no driver changes, so wide open the whole way.
But can the old pros withstand the pounding and the brash newcomers on the crumbling concrete of Sebring?
I love close competition and not afraid to race against anybody, and it's just a lot of fun.
A brand new season of the Trans Am Championship is next. Welcome to Sebring International Raceway in Sebring, Florida for the Trans Am Championship. Today it's the season opener, the Foametix Trans Am 100. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. NASCAR star Michael McDowell joins me for the call in a few moments. Shea Adam has our coverage today on pit road. It's going to be a long road to the Trans Am Championship this year. The defending series champ is Doug Peterson in that three-dimensional.com 87 car. Host of great challengers ready to give him a tough fight for the title, though. Let's find out more.
Starting in third today, last year was first, so you've got a bit of competition in front of you, but what are your thoughts going into the first turn of the race?
Well, it's going to be a little slippery. You know, Amy does a good job in the beginning of these races, but she usually doesn't do all that well at the end. You know, it's that last lap that counts. So, I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes, and it's going to be a lot of traffic, so that's really going to play into things. But RJ, you know, these guys are quick, but they're sometimes out of control.
The thoughts of defending series champ Doug Peterson, Michael McDowell. He's giving Amy Room and the pole sitter an earful here.
Yeah, probably going over just that first corner. It's very treacherous at Sebring. We had rain, the rubber's been washed off, so you want to get through the first lap without any problems.
Good to have you back with us this year as you take a day off from your NASCAR duties, driving the Levine Family Racing Ford. A lot of great storylines here at Sebring as we kick off another new season of Trans Am competition. The weather's been the big story. We had torrential rain here earlier in the weekend.
Well, when you're in Sebring, you can expect there's going to be rain at some point, but hopefully it'll hold off for the race.
Our pit reporter this season is Shea Adam. She's with the pole sitter.
Everyone's going to be chasing this beautiful Corvette driven by Amy Room. And Amy, what a pleasure it is to meet you, and congratulations on getting pole. What are your thoughts going into turn one of this very long race?
Thanks, I appreciate it. My thoughts are to get out front and stay out front. We want to put this McNichols 23 car out, keep it out front as long as we can. Just run our race, run smooth and fast. We got PME engines on board this year, so they've given me a nice fast motor. So that's the game plan. So hopefully these guys just stay behind me and we'll cruise to an easy win, I hope.
Well, the big story of the whole weekend has been rain. What are your thoughts if it does rain? Does that work to your advantage?
Not to my advantage, I don't think so. I don't think it's an equalizer, but I would like to see it stay dry for sure. It's a lot easier, especially with the traffic, to negotiate a dry track versus a wet track.
Well, it should be a little bit easier for you starting out front. Clear vision to the start of this race.
All right, let's take a look at our starting lineup for today's Foametix 100. Ruben on the pole in the McNichols Chevrolet, the 23. RJ Lopez returning to the series. He's out of Miami Beach in the Optical Lopez Chevrolet Corvette. There's the defending series champ, your pal Doug Peterson in the 87.
Yeah, Doug had a solid season, obviously coming home at the championship, but a lot of quality cars in this field.
Sure are, and here's the rest of your Trans Am starting lineup. These are the 900 horsepower, 2,600-pound rocket ships, some of the fastest race cars anywhere in North America. Two other categories of cars will be in action, though, here this weekend at Sebring in the Foametix 100, Trans Am 2 and Trans Am 3. And let's take a look at that Trans Am 2 field. Michael McDowell, we were so impressed with these race cars. The defending champ Cameron Lawrence right there in that blue Dodge. Tony Buffamani will start alongside. 30-some cars ready to do battle here.
Yeah, we saw great battles in this category last year. I mean, obviously we got Cameron Lawrence up front, but a friend of mine, Shane Lewis, is in the field. So there's a lot of big names. Tommy Archer. You can't go through a field like this and not expect good racing.
Ron Keefe will start 7th in the 25. Kevin Poitras out of Canada back in the 73. Lawrence Loshak, a great amateur champion, a youngster. That's the Ray Bestis Ford. Jordan Bupp in the 81. Gar Robinson, keep an eye on him. He is Shane Lewis's teammate in the 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolets. And here's the rest of your Trans Am 2 starting lineup. As you'll see, We got up over 30 entries, 34 cars set to take the green. Former champion Tony Abe just getting in that 70 car, has to come a long way through the field. He'll start back in 32nd in TA2. My guess is Abe won't be there very long. Let's take a look now at TA3 as these cars come onto the speedway. TA3 is actually in two subgroups. There's an American category and an international category. Check out these cars.
Yeah, we got BMW, Porsche, Ferrari, Dodge, and Corvette in there. So a great mix of manufacturers. It's going to be fun to watch. Got Camaro, Mustang, Challengers, you know, your American muscle cars. I like it. I love seeing the diversity in the series. And man, there's so many cars here on Sebring International Raceway. Going to be a lot of traffic and a lot of great racing.
Teenager Ernie Francis Jr. starts third, defending champion in this category. Lee Saunders on the pole in that Viper, the 84. Here's the rest of the starting lineup. A lot of veterans: Mel Shaw, Milton Grant, drivers who've been doing this in TA3 for the last couple of years. Clint Sawinski. We look for some great action in TA3 today. Cliff Evan in the 36 car will give us some onboard looks today, as will many of the drivers in this field in his Ford Mustang. Coming to green, Trans Am will start first, then there'll be a gap back to TA2 and TA3, and we are underway in the Foametix 100 at Sebring International Raceway. On board with Paul Fix starting fourth outside row 2.
What a great sound coming to the green. These Trans Am cars sound so great. They're throaty, they're muscle. What's cool about Sebring is it's rough. There, as you can see, the racetrack has a lot of seams. It's very rough. This is a track that's very easy to make mistakes. So especially these opening laps, tires are cold. There's not a lot of rubber on the track from the rain. You have to hit your marks and not get too consumed with what's in your mirror.
Amy Ruman from the pole in the McNichols Chevrolet, the 23 race winner a year ago. There's RJ Lopez in that silver and red 16, and the former series champ Doug Peterson settling into third in the three-dimensional.com 87. John Bauckham from Charlotte, North Carolina, right behind him in the 86 car in fourth as they head into the right-hander.
Well, we know about Doug Peterson. He's very good at managing these races. You know, he's kind of relaxing a little bit in the first half, and then second half he'll pounce.
Tony Buffamati has taken the lead already in TA2 from the pole sitter, the champion Cameron Lawrence. Buffamati out of Naperville, Illinois. That's the Best Line Lubricants Ford. And here is Lawrence. Oh, a tangle in turn 3. These are some of the TA3 entries getting in trouble.
Now, Rick, with 73 cars on the racetrack, I did not think we were going to get through this first lap. We got a little bit of caution here, but we'll get it cleaned up and get back racing here.
And we'll see whether we'll go full course yellow. Thomas Ellis in the 00, the Steeda Ford.
Ooh.
Up on the Armco into one of the BMWs and around. That could have been a lot worse than it ended up being. Tom Ellis, a guy who's been doing this for quite a while in TA3. Meantime, the field continues under green, a local yellow on that part of the race course. And here comes the safety car. We will go full course caution as we begin lap number 2 with Amy Ruman out in front. The Mazda pace car moving out. There's some damage to Michael Camus's Epic Motorsports BMW. Wow, heavy damage there. Looks like he'll be able to drive it around to pit road, but he probably will not be able to continue. Lawrence back in front at TA2. Lee Saunders leads TA3.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Three Dimensional Services Group. Prototype, production, proven. And by Foametix. If it isn't green in color, it isn't Foametix. That's how you know it's Foametix, the energy smart insulation solution.
Welcome back to Sebring International Raceway in Central Florida alongside Michael McDowell. I'm Rick Benjamin. Shea Adam with our coverage on pit road all season long. The Foametix 100 underway. Early caution for a tangle in turn 3 involving a couple of our TA3 competitors. There's the beautiful Corvette C7R of returning star Claudio Burton. He is the CEO of Foametix. There's a brand new race car and just a beautiful piece. That bodywork looks fantastic. Foametix heavily involved this year in this revival of the Trans Am Championship. Before the start today, Shea Adam got a look at the race car.
Claudio Burton is one of the main drivers to watch this weekend. Claudio, there are so many racing series out there to choose between, but you chose Trans Am. Why?
Well, Trans Am has a real rich history of some of the greats driving here. Roger Penske in the old days, and modern era, Tommy Kendall, and just a great series to be a part of.
It's a great series to be a part of, and with beautiful cars. You're in the new Corvette C7 body shape this weekend. How's it been acting for you?
Well, we're still getting a little bugs out of the car. Setup and stuff is always difficult at this track, but I think it's going to be interesting. It's a great car. Chevrolet's built a great package here, and with Foametix on board, I think we can do pretty good.
So Claudio Burton, who started back in the outside the top 10 in Trans Am, trying to move up in the early going, sorting out that brand new race car.
Yeah, there's always bugs in the beginning of the year, especially with a new body and new manufacturers. You have to work through them, but you got to run the full races to get there. We can see going down into turn 1, Amy run a defensive line trying to keep Doug Peterson, but Doug Peterson's making a move for second place.
Peterson, the defending series champ, on the charge. Third spot now. RJ Lopez able to reestablish second, and he's putting plenty of heat on the pole sitter Ruman in the red 23.
Yeah, this is just great battle, great racing. As you can see, it's very narrow on this section of the track. So if you don't have your pass done by turn 1, you're really waiting until you get down turn 5, you get the heavy braking zone. This is an opportunity to pass.
6 laps complete, working lap 7. 100 miles is the race distance today as the Trans Am field starts to string it out. Lopez a tight second. Ruman locks up the brakes here.
Wow, that was a big lockup, and you'll have that in these heavy braking zones, especially with cold tires. Now, the concern that you have is that tire flat spotted? Is that tire going to vibrate for the rest of the race? So we'll see how Amy does these next few laps. We'll know what that tire's doing.
On board with David Pintarek out of Ohio. That's the Kreider Racing Chevrolet, another of those new C7R body packages. He's picked up 5 spots already.
Well, that's a great opening few laps for sure. I love this onboard. Just the sound, the sights. This is a great racetrack. I love being there. I miss not going to Sebring.
Maybe we can get you in one of these things before the season's over for a few laps. Here's RJ Lopez running second in the Optic Lopez entry, the Optica Lopez Chevrolet Corvette out of Miami. He had put a lot of pressure on Amy Ruman early. Now he's got to be concerned because he's got Doug Peterson, John Bauckham back behind him, Paul Fix in the 4 car, and that looks like Cliff Evan in the 36 right behind him.
Yeah, there's great racing throughout the field here. As we get through these S's here, leading onto the back straightaway, that's what you're thinking about. You're setting up your pass right here. You want to get a good shot off the corner. Long straightaways at Sebring. You got to have big power and good brakes when you get down to the end.
Backstretch heading toward the final sweeping right-hander that puts you on the front side here at Sebring International Raceway. On board again with Pintarek in the 57, trying to close in on Evan in the 36 for 6th spot.
It's fun watching these cars move around. Like I said, Sebring very bumpy. As you can see, the back end comes way out of the racetrack there. You have to have good throttle control. You got a 900 horsepower in a Trans Am car, so you got to be really good on those tires.
For the lead, RJ Lopez on the outside trying to work his way by Amy Ruman. Ruman too strong into 1.
And Amy is not making it easy for him at all. Running the defensive line there, you know, protecting that spot. It's early in the race, so this is going to get heated.
Lopez right up alongside the 23. Again, Amy Ruman able to hang on to the top spot.
Wow, this is getting good. And what they're going to do is they're going to set themselves up for Doug Peterson and the other cars behind to catch up to them.
Amy Ruman in the McNichols Company 23, young series veteran out of Ohio. RJ Lopez, who won races in Trans Am years ago, coming back to the series now. He'll run select events this year in the Optica Lopez Chevrolet. He may not be a championship contender if he doesn't run the full season, but boy, he is making himself heard here today at Sebring.
Got in a little bit deep there, got wide in that corner, and that's what happens here at Sebring. When you push the brakes, you continue to push them, they can get hot, and next thing you know, you go into that next brake zone, you don't have the stopping power. Let everything cool off and mount up and charge again.
Our Replay XD onboard views from Doug Peterson's 87. That's the 3dimensional.com Chevrolet 3-dimensional services, one of our major sponsors in Trans Am this season. Peterson up through the gearbox. Got to be frustrating for a guy who won a lot of races a year ago, won the championship, finds himself 4th here in the early going.
Yeah, Doug's a tough competitor, fierce competitor, but he loves Trans Am, he loves the series, so he embraces the competition. But by the time we get to the end of this race, I imagine we're going to see that 3-dimensional car pushing for the lead.
John Bauckham main time in the 86 out of Matthews, a suburb of the Charlotte area, North Carolina. The RoadRaceParts.com Ford. Nice early run for him up to 3rd spot.
Yeah, putting the pressure on here. Hopefully get a good shot down this back straightaway and challenge into the corners.
As we watch the leaders move toward the final corner, let's check in on TA2. What big trouble for Tony Buffamati, who started on the outside pole.
Yeah, we saw Tony lead earlier in this race, but jumped the start, had to serve a drive-through penalty, and now he's all the way back into 22nd. Probably going to need a caution to get caught back up.
Wow, Tony Buffamati, who was expected to challenge for the win in Trans Am 2, looks like he's going to have his work cut out for him today. Leader is still Cameron Lawrence. Here's the 44 of Adam Andretti, the ECC cool shirt on board camera here. Adam Andretti into the final corner here at Sebring as well.
We saw a lot of great racing with Adam Andretti last year, especially I remember Mid-Ohio being one of those tracks where he had a breakout performance. I expect him to be consistent and strong all year long.
Adam Andretti, 15 or so car lengths behind the race leader, Cameron Lawrence. Lead car continues to be Amy Ruman in Trans Am. We check in a little further behind. There's Pintarek in the 57. Doing a nice job. He's gotten by Cliff Eben to move to 6th. The fight for the lead, 4 cars deep. It's young Amy Ruman in the McNichols Chevrolet still at the head of the class in the Foametix 100 at Sebring International Raceway. Welcome back to Sebring International Raceway. Coverage of the Trans Am Championship here on the CBS Sports Network. The Foametix 100 season opener and the fight for the lead.
That was a great setup there. Amy ran a defensive line into turn 1, which opened the door, breaking down here into turn 2.
RJ Lopez getting to the inside of Amy Ruman. Lopez in the 16 takes over the top spot for the first time today. Great move to get around the 23. Now Michael McDowell, let's see if he can stretch it out.
Well, this is a new spot for Amy. She's been in the lead all day long, so it's going to be really interesting to see if she can get back to that top position.
Leaders working by some of the TA3 machines. That's the 67, Jason Berkeley from New York, the BMG Management Chevrolet. Lopez will swing to the outside of another TA3 entry here. Lap traffic could really mess up Amy's chances of getting back into the lead.
Yeah, we got a lot of manufacturers, a lot of cars out here at Sebring International Way. There's gonna be traffic. How you navigate that's gonna be critical.
Ball fix moving into fourth. Oh, trouble for John Baucom out of Matthews, North Carolina, the raceparts.com Ford. He was solidly in the top 5. Looks like he's got a serious problem, a little smoke out of the left side of that car.
Yeah, John was having a great day. Looks like it's terminal, something in the motor let go, left front smoking. It's gonna end his day.
Tough break for John Baucom, who's been doing this a long time. Let's check back in on TA3 International. The Land Search LLC Dodge of Lee Saunders continues to lead that category. Saunders has been very smooth in that Viper.
Yeah, these are neat cars. As you can see, it looks more like your street production car. The cars are a little bit off the ground, even heard some tire squeal there. So these cars are going to be a bit of a handful to drive, but you can see a great race, 5-way battle here for the lead.
Russ Snow settling into second spot. Saunders is out in front right now. They're lapping some slower cars as well in TA3. They go 3 wide for a moment.
Yeah, this is just great racing. Like we mentioned, a lot of different cars, a lot of different speeds out there.
On board with Tony Buffamani, trying to work his way back from that penalty, and the best line for it. He moved by Justin Napoleon out of Texas in the Turnkey Industries Chevrolet in TA2 a moment ago. Closing in on the TA3 leader here, Saunders in the Viper as they work the right-hander.
Now, Tony Buffamani's had a fast car all race long. We remember he led early, had that penalty. As he works through traffic here, he's going to need a caution to get caught back up.
We're 11 laps in. It shows you how tough the competition is in TA2. He's worked his way from the back of the field, but only up to 19th. I thought he would make a lot more headway getting back toward the leader.
Well, you just lose so much time going down pit road. Sebring's a very long track, so it's very hard to make up ground.
Meantime, trouble for the 78. That's Harry Steenbacher's out of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, the BC Race Cars Chevrolet. And trouble again. Another car gets turned coming out of that corner.
Yeah, there was some contact for sure. They're not sure if the slower traffic there caused that, but racing hard, you'll see that.
Mike Hazelwood gets turned around. He's able to refire and get back on pace. Joe Napoleon in the 91 here. The other Turnkey Industry Chevrolet. There's the contact, turning Hazelwood around.
Yeah, just got back to the gas a little bit too soon, trying to mount up that run.
Meantime, Cameron Lawrence in Mike Miller's Dodge continuing to lead here in Trans Am 2, the defending series champ. One of the great young stars. We saw him at the Rolex 24 at Daytona and IMSA earlier. Adam Andretti's been chasing Cameron Lawrence last season and so far here this weekend at Sebring as well. But Adam Andretti in that silver 44 Chevrolet thinks he's got a great chance to win.
You know, there's been 2 dreams in my driving life, and Indianapolis 500 is definitely one of them, and I hope to someday get there. Trans Am was always one of them. You know, I love full-bodied cars, I love road racing, and this was always the premiere for it. And the history behind it, I'm a history buff, especially with our sport, and I always wanted to be a part of this history. It is the one professional series, I believe, in America that an Andretti never competed in. So it's a place that we can now leave our mark, which is great.
Adam Andretti, a really strong young driver, and he's got a great personality.
Yeah, great racing last year. I'm going to see the same thing this year. Let's see if he can mount up that charge to Cameron Lawrence. Cameron was so strong, especially at the late run of these races. So, you know, there's a lot still that can happen. We're not to the end yet.
Not at all, as we watch RJ Lopez continue to lead in the Optical Lopez Chevrolet out of Miami. Trouble for another TA2 entry. That's the 60 car, locking up the brakes, sliding off. Now the turn is left there. That's one of the runoff areas. Let's have a look at here as Lopez comes to the corner.
That was a closer call than Lopez was looking for sure. A little bit further into that corner, and that could have been very bad.
Yeah, that was Tim Gray in the 60 from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, the Ryan Company's Chevrolet. Meantime, Lopez able to add to his advantage in the S. Some contact. Cliff Eben in the Mustang, the 36. David Pintarek in the red, white, and blue Chevrolet, the 57. They were fighting for 6th and 7th. Let's take a listen here on board with Pintarek going into the right-hander. Oh,
there was contact, yes, definitely contact. As we saw, we had a little bit of traffic up there. That created an opportunity to make a pass. The pass did not work out. Looks like we have another incident here in turn 17.
Just under the Mobile One Bridge, looks like Joe Napoleon got into some trouble. Let's take a look from his onboard.
It looks like that, there's either an issue with the left front tire or got in a little bit too deep there. We saw the windshield wipers going, so maybe there was some contact prior to that.
Take another look. Looks as though Napoleon just locked up the brakes. Russ Snow in the 20 also getting into the soft wall there. There's Snow's on board.
That has a look that possibly there's some fluid down because Russ followed them right in as well. So possible there's some fluid down in turn 17. Very tricky corner, lots of bumps.
So the double incident in 17 will bring out a full course yellow. We'll be right back with more of the Trans Am Championship at Sebring.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Racing Electronics, #1 in race communications worldwide. And by Replay XD. The new Prime X is here. Record, replay.
Welcome back to Sebring International Raceway. On board the 67 of Jason Berkeley in Trans Am 3. That's one of the international competitors, Chevrolet Corvette there. You look at the safety modifications made to these cars, full roll cages, even though they're based in TA3 on the street car. Lawrence Loshak, meantime, in that brand new Raybestos powertrain Ford, the 5, with those classic colors on that car, the old Dorsey Schrader championship car from some years ago. Loshak, a young gun with lots of amateur championships to his credit, making the move full-time into TA2 to get his pro racing feet wet. Shay talked to him earlier.
Well, I mean, come on, take a look at the cars here. I mean, the sound, I mean, the America that comes out of every single car that goes down the straightaway. I mean, it's really cool. The timing of Trans Am, and of course, the timing of the muscle cars coming back on the street with the Camaro and the 50th anniversary of the Mustang. I mean, it's just a place to be. The growth, too, in the past couple of years, I mean, just from last year, I mean, to have a field of 72 cars is just tremendous. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
So Lawrence Loshak trying to see what he can do in pro racing in this car. Now, he debuted at Mid-Ohio last year and sat on the pole in TA2 in a car from the Archer Brothers stable. This is his own race team this time around. Young Guy Robinson, meantime, the 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet out of San Antonio, Texas. His dad, George, was a great Trans Am racer back in the day. And let's get on board with Doug Peterson in the 3Dimensional.com 87 defending series champion, sitting fourth right now. He's got to be getting a little antsy back there.
Yeah, it's go time in this race. We're getting down to the end. This is when you got to make your moves and make your passes.
Third spot in TA3 belongs to Jerry Green in the 93. We'll get an onboard look from his Ford Mustang as he sets up for the restart here as well. Shane Lewis also with great onboard looks today. Now, he is Guy Robinson's teammate, the 74 Ranch Resort 72 car. Shane told me before the race they have been chasing the setup all weekend. He thinks maybe settling down to his liking.
Yeah, this might be a new team, a new opportunity for Shane, but he's not new to racing. He's a very established sports car racer. I got to spend a lot of time racing with him in the prototype division. So, great driver. I imagine before the end of the year, we're going to see him get a victory.
A guy who excels at long distance racing as well. Many victories at Daytona. We'll see how he does in the sprint format here. For the lead, meantime, Green back out. Amy Ruman trying to get the drop on Lopez, and she does.
How about 3 wide into turn 1 at Sebring? This is great racing.
And Lopez right back at her. Amy went 2 wide coming out of 1.
Yeah, Amy did what she had to do. She mounted up a pass, got in a little bit deep, and Lopez was able to capitalize on it.
Paul Fix, meantime, runs to third in the Stop Flex car number 4. Fix out of the Buffalo, New York area. Series veteran back at it in Trans Am a year ago. He now moves ahead of Doug Peterson into third spot.
This is great racing. This is what you see on restart, especially in Trans Am Series. Tires are cold, cars are slipping around. You got a lot of power, a lot of opportunities for mistakes.
Now RJ Lopez in the 16 with the lead and some clean racetrack in front of him. Let's see what Paul Fix can do here in the 4 car. Bold move to get up to third.
Well, Paul's been in that mix all day long, but we haven't seen him charge or pounce like we have on this restart. This is game time. This is when you get the belts tight and you go for that victory.
Taking a look back from Fix's car at Peterson. Meantime, action in TA3. They run out of racetrack in that right-hand corner. That's the 6 car, though, of Mickey Wright. She's one of the Trans Am contenders, and the other Durham Motorsports Chevrolet. She is down in the grass and will have to find her way back to the tarmac. Amy Ruman, meantime, on board with her Replay XD view ahead of race leader RJ Lopez.
Yeah, RJ's opened up a little bit of gap here, but Amy's holding tight. There's still a little bit of racing here to go. I think Amy's going to mount up a charge.
This is such a high-speed part of this racetrack. Even though these are twisties, you really make some time down here.
This is a very treacherous part of Sebring International. These Trans Am cars carry 160, 165 miles an hour into those corners there. And what happens is you get the weight left, right, and it builds momentum, and then all of a sudden you're sideways. So you got to have good control there. Suspension's got to be dialed in, and this is what leads on to the longest straightaway at Sebring, so your car has to be good.
What about the transition from concrete to asphalt, which you have here on the backstretch?
Yeah, you go from racetrack to airport in a very short period of time. It's very rough. Sebring's old, and it's great, and it's awesome racing. But your cars are very difficult to drive, especially when you get into turn 17 there and you transition onto concrete.
As much power as these Trans Am cars make, and as light as they are, pretty easy to buzz the tires.
Very easy. Hoosier brings a great tire. These tires last the entire race. We're not seeing pit stops like we see in other forms of racing. These guys are flat out, and gals, Amy, pushing hard all race long, and those Hoosier tires last.
A move for position there as Simon Gregg got around Doug Peterson in the 87. The defending series champ struggling in the threedimensional.com Chevrolet. So give Simon Gregg a call out of Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. The son of the great Peter Gregg driving the Durhog 59. Simon, always a championship contender, makes a move and picks up a spot into the top 4. There's Claudio Burton in the Foametix car, the 7. We talked to him earlier. That is a brand new race car. They're just starting to sort the process out, get that car up to speed, but Claudio doing a nice job in his return to Trans Am competition. Let's get on board and take a ride with Claudio Burton.
That's a great looking Corvette, and as you can hear off this corner, it's a great sounding Corvette as well. So much fun on these onboard cameras. We got a lot of new onboards this year. Gives us a whole different perspective of what it's like to drive a Trans Am car.
Claudio Burton trying to get up to speed in this car this weekend as he returns to Trans Am competition. Looking forward to seeing how they go throughout the course of the year. It's a long run. We'll race until November in Trans Am here in 2015. So if you're off the pace a little this weekend, you've got plenty of time to figure things out. Meantime, race leader RJ Lopez has a problem. He's given up 2 spots. He's falling back to 3rd.
And you can hear it. There is something wrong with that ECR Chevy. It's starting to lose some power. It's still running, but you know, RJ was dominant earlier in this race and starting to drop back.
Paul Fix has moved into 2nd position. Amy Ruman has retaken the lead, and now Lopez under pressure from Simon Gregg in the 59 for 3rd spot. And Simon will have no problem, it appears, closing in on Lopez. We'll see how long it may take him to work his way by, but Lopez clearly off the pace now.
Yeah, and unfortunately with engine troubles like this, it's only going to get worse as you go here. They don't ever fix themselves. So, you know, he's going to try to manage this race, try to keep it underneath them so they get as much points as you can, because you don't want to come out of Sebring with a last place finish and have to make that up for the rest of the year.
RJ Lopez led a lot of laps in the early going in his return to the series in the Optical Lopez Chevrolet. Tough to see that he's developed a problem here. We're less than 10 laps to go today in the Foametix 100 at Sebring. Meantime, Gregg trying to chase down the 16. Lopez doing a nice job of managing what power he has.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Just shows what a dominant car he had early on in the race to hold his spot like he is right now. Making up a lot of time in the twisty turns. But these long straightaways at Sebring is going to take its toll.
Amy Ruman continues to lead. Paul Fix is 2nd. Lopez close in 3rd. Sometimes a little less power means, well, maybe you get a little more traction to the racetrack.
Well, you just get some momentum through the corner, but you can see on that straightaway lost 15, 16 car lengths. So unfortunately at Sebring, with long straightaways, really, really hard to make the time. If we were at a place like Mid-Ohio, we'd be able to hold on to a spot a lot better.
Simon Gregg right up alongside the 16, but Lopez able to outgun him coming off the corner.
Yes, Lopez is battling extremely hard to hold on to these spots, especially knowing that he has an issue.
Meantime, Lee Saunders as we check in on TA3. Saunders in that Viper, one of the international category cars in Trans Am racing, able to hold on to the top spot. He's been out front much of the way. A mix of TA2 and 3 cars. One car off course into the grass, gets back on the racetrack as Saunders rolls by in the 84.
There was a lot of traffic right there in that little bit of a spot. You know, it's getting late in a race. A lot of issues right now. Guys have damage. There's some guys that are fighting mechanical issues, so it's really about navigating that traffic well.
Saunders in the 84 working his way past the 55 car. That's the car Milt Grant from Germantown, Tennessee. The Courtyard Hotel by Marriott, Porsche 997. Back with more at Sebring. Back at Sebring International Raceway, coverage of the Foametix Trans Am 100, the Trans Am Championship, here on CBS Sports Network, alongside Michael McDowell. I'm Rick Benjamin. Shea Adam on pit road. What a fight we have for 4th, 5th, and 6th in TA2. Lawrence Loshak in the Ray Bestas 5. Gar Robinson in the 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet, the 74, and the great veteran Tommy Archer in the Archer Brothers 49. What a three-way battle this is, Mike.
That is intense for sure. You got Tommy Archer there, veteran, racing hard. This is just good racing that you want to see at the end.
Loshak in the Ray Bestas 4. The 5 car has 4th spot right now. One of the bright young competitors in road course racing, as is Gar Robinson. I'm really impressed with him. Shane Lewis on board as a veteran to try to mentor Gar, but he's right there in 5th.
Yeah, and they're hanging these cars out. As we saw in that last shot, cars are sliding around. You hear the back tires squealing. This is just a great battle.
Tommy Archer's been doing this for a long time as well. He's won a ton of Trans Am races over the years. Back in TA2, the Archer Brothers team back with 4 or 5 cars at some venues. Ron Keith right there, one of Mike Cope's cars. That's the 25, the Ford. Let's get on board here with Gar Robinson.
Well, this is a great shot. You get to hear the motor, you get to see what he's seeing, and right now he's in an intense battle, battling very hard for these spots.
4th and 5th in play. Loshak has 4th position in the 5 car right now as the laps wind down. We're well inside 10 to go here at Sebring International Raceway.
Oh, it's fun watching them work that wheel. You see it going left, you see it going right, the car's sliding around. This is great racing.
Remember, in TA2, these are purpose-built race cars. The tires are a little smaller. The horsepower is limited, about 525. The cars weigh a little bit more, but they're plenty fast. Meantime, up front, Amy Ruman starting to reestablish her dominance. Back on board with RJ Lopez as he struggles with that motor problem in the 16 after a very strong start to the day. Looks like Lopez is going to head down pit road. His day may be done.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, unfortunately, motors usually don't get better as you run. And, you know, very disappointing for RJ. Had such a strong car very early in the race, had a big lead. But, you know, has showed a lot of speed. The team showed a lot of speed, so they'll be back.
The Lopez team brings the car to a stop on pit road. RJ shuts it off rather than do any more damage under the hood to that 16 car. Meantime, the fight for the lead. Simon Gregg putting late race pressure on Amy Ruman for the lead.
Yeah, Amy's done a great job with the pressure. You see her running into the defensive line. We saw early in the race she locked up that tire, but it seems that she's holding on to this lead well.
It looked good early on for RJ Lopez, but his day ends early. Fuel pump issue. He has already left.
Yeah, fuel pump issue. That's what we heard in the motor. It was fluttering real bad. The guys at ECR built very strong, very fast motor. So a bolt-on part, something that was probably a $15 piece, took him out of the race.
Wow, you hate it when those things happen, but that's part of motorsports at all levels. Tony Ave, meantime, in car number 70, the Lamers Ford. Now, great story. Ave builds a lot of these race cars. Former Trans Am champion decides he's going to go racing in TA2 this season. They just took delivery of that car on Friday here at Sebring. Tony didn't qualify well. He's raced up through the field. Now he loses it in the right hand.
Well, Tony Ave is a very established race car driver. You know, obviously fighting this new car, trying to get the gremlins out of it. I think we just can't keep Tony Ave out of his seat, so he'll find anything to drive.
Absolutely, and he had raced his way into the top 5. Remember, he qualified back, 32nd in Trans Am 2 after only getting a couple of laps this weekend. Nice run up into the top 5 for Tony. We'll see if he can salvage a good finish here this afternoon. Lead cars working their way through some of the TA3 traffic meantime. Ruman in the 23, Gregg in the 59, Doug Peterson up to 3rd now in the 87. Fix is 4th. Claudio Burton has raced his way up to 5th. As we get inside, 5 laps to go, and Michael McDowell, it looks as though these two may settle this one today.
Yeah, it's definitely a race right up here. And Amy's done a really great job with the pressure. She's run a defensive line. She's holding the car back. But when you get down to the end, desperation kicks in. You know you're going to have to go for that victory.
Talk about strong young drivers. Ernie Francis Jr., a teenager, TA3 champ a year ago, down the backstretch. As we go on board, motor problems, it looks like there as well.
Oh, man, very unfortunate. A lot of smoke into the straightaway. That sounds terminal.
So Ernie Francis Jr. pulls off into the runoff area outside turn 17 here at Sebring. Looks as though his afternoon is done. New leader in TA3A, that's Todd Napierowski in the 39 left of your screen as we watch Amy Ruman and Simon Gregg fight for the lead overall.
And Amy is being extremely aggressive in this traffic, trying to get 1 or 2 cars in between her and Simon.
Shouldering her way to the inside of that 94 car, that Porsche in TA3. Here comes Doug Peterson to join the fun. When the leader gets held up, that gives some of the other cars a shot. In TA2, though, this one's still in the hands of Cameron Lawrence over Robinson and Ron Keith. Welcome back to Sebring International Raceway. Final few laps of the Foametix 100, the Trans Am opener in 2015. Amy Ruman is your leader in the red 23, the McNichols Chevrolet. Simon Gregg right behind. Doug Peterson in the 87 sits third. Meantime, in TA3 International, that's Lee Saunders in the 84. He's led all the way in that Dodge Viper. Saunders doing a great job. David Masick is second in the 71 as Amy Ruman works through some of the traffic out of turn 3 here. Peterson and Gregg right behind. The TA2 cars having to give way for the faster Trans Am machines. John Bauckham, meantime, back on the racetrack there in the 86. He was a top 5 car early. Had a problem down one of the straightaways, ran into the runoff area, but he was able to get that car refired back on the racetrack. Fighting for the lead with a handful of laps to go. It's still Ruman. Here's Peterson changing lines on Simon Gregg.
Well, as those two are battling, Doug's just setting it up. He's going to try to mount up a run, getting onto one of these long straightaways. And when you get into the end of the race, the brakes aren't as good as they once were. The tires are sliding around. This is when you do make mistakes.
On board with Justin Napoleon out of Texas in car number 90, currently 16th. We'll be seeing a lot of Justin and his dad Joe all season long as they run their team cars, the 90 and 91 entries here in Trans Am 2. One of our Replay XD onboard views for you today here at Sebring International Raceway, showing you just how challenging this racetrack really is.
Yeah, and you can see that the track's got a lot of rubber down now. It's a warm day, so when that rubber gets hot, it gets very slick.
Good battling for 4th, 5th, and 6th in TA2. Loshak, Quadras, and Buffamani up to 6th after having to restart 22nd. Meantime, for the overall victory here today in Trans Am, Amy Ruman, Simon Gregg, Doug Peterson are nose to tail.
And what's cool about this race has been going on since the green flag dropped.
They are running out of time, though, in Trans Am. Meantime, in TA3 International, Russ Snow had gotten into the tire barrier earlier, worked his way back up to 4th in this class, and how about this, Michael McDowell?
Just carrying a lot of momentum. Back end got away from him. It's unfortunate for Russ because he had that problem early on, worked his way all the way back up to 4th, and now he's got to start over again.
These Corvettes, of course, have plenty of horsepower, even less tire in TA3 than they have in TA2, so you're not going to have a lot of help with grip there.
Yeah, our Trans Am cars have a big tire, big horsepower, and we're going to see that put the place here on the last lap.
White flag waving over Amy Ruman in the McNichols 23, Simon Gregg in 2nd, and Jim Durhag's 59. 3rd spot to Doug Peterson in the 3dimensional.com 87. That's a Tony Ave built car, and they are nose to tail in the S's.
Wow, this is a great battle for the lead. Ooh, a little bit of contact.
Simon Gregg gets turned around. Gregg maybe on the gas a little too quickly coming off that corner. Local caution will wave. That will cost him 2nd spot.
Well, he either got on the gas a little bit too soon or Doug Peterson nose had the rear end of that car up. I'm not sure which one happened.
Amy Ruman, meantime, takes advantage to open up 8 or 9 car lengths over Peterson on the last lap. Here's another look at what happened.
Yeah, you know, they all got jammed up there. Amy was running defensive line. Doug got in the back of them. That's just part of good hard racing on the last lap.
One more look at it here as the field works the S's on the final go-round at Sebring.
Yeah, just slight contact, and it does not take much to spin a car around.
Especially if the car's unloaded at that corner.
Yeah, and we see the damage on Doug's nose there. And like I said, this is what you expect. When you're going into the white flag and it's a 3-way battle for the lead, I expect some contact. I want to see good, fierce racing, and that's what we saw.
That's what we have in Trans Am and have for almost 50 years of racing. You know, this is no-holds-barred stuff.
Yeah, and Amy's opened up a gap here going into turn 17. Not sure if that damage on that last lap just slowed Doug down a little bit, but she's kind of easy sailing down into 17 here. A little bit of traffic, though, so you never know what can happen.
Amy Ruman has won races in Trans Am the last few years. 2nd-generation driver after following her dad Bob's footsteps, hoping to open the season with a victory at Sebring. She heads to the stripe. Amy Ruman is going to win the Foametix 100 here at Sebring International Raceway, defeating Doug Peterson in the 87. Of course, those two had a lot to say about each other before we got going here today. This will just add more fuel to the rivalry.
Yeah, it's ironic. Doug Peterson mentioned that Amy doesn't do well at the end of these races, and she battled both of those guys out for the victory, so a lot of fun.
Amy Ruman is a great closer here at Sebring and gets the job done to win the season opener in 2015 and get a big leg up on possibly winning the Trans Am Championship this season. TA2, meantime, Cameron Lawrence in the Mopar, the Dodge Challenger out of Mike Miller's stables. Looks as though he's going to go wire to wire. He has been basically unchallenged after Tony Buffamani had the drive-through penalty earlier. Behind one of the TA3 cars, the 61. Lawrence will come out of the final corner and head to the stripe, the winner in TA2.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services Group. Prototype, production, proven. And by Foametix. If it isn't green in color, it isn't Foametix. That's how you know it's Foametix, the energy smart insulation solution.
Welcome back to Sebring International Raceway. The checkered flag has fallen for the first time in the 2015 Trans Am season. Amy Ruman in victory lane for the first time. She's with Shay.
The overall winner of the Foametix 100 is a woman who's now stood on the top step of the podium 6 times in this series. First off, Amy, congratulations. What was it like out there?
Thanks. It was hard fought. Let me tell you, it was a hot day. Track was slippery. We kept these Hoosier tires underneath this McNichols 23 Corvette and just tried to stay out front and be patient, even though RJ got by us. We just took that restart and tried to get him back. And got to thank PME for a great power plant they put under PME engines, and McNichols Company for being on board. We couldn't be happier with this pole and this win. It's a great way to start the season. You know, Doug's trash talking me, so I had to show him who was boss today, you know.
You threw quite the gauntlet on the podium, saying the championship is going to be yours this year. Are you going for it?
Yeah, we're going hard. We've been just shy these past couple years, and I'm getting real tired of seeing that 87 up there. So we need to make a change of the crown, if you will. And so we're set our sights on winning this championship. I want to get that title and take it away from Doug. He's been up there too much.
No better way to start than with a pole and a win. And congrats again to Amy Ruman, the winner of the Foametix 100.
Amy Ruman to victory lane in the season opener here at Sebring over Doug Peterson. Paul Fix with a good run to third.
If that interview from Amy doesn't get you excited about the rest of the season, I don't know what will.
It's going to be a great battle all season long. Amy Ruman with a leg up on the competition. Eben in 4th spot. The rest of the TA field, Simon Gregg, after that last lap spin, gets a 12th place finish. That's going to be tough to recover from for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a good run all day long, but was going for it, and that's what you want to see.
Shay's caught up with our TA2 winner.
TA2 winner is Cameron Lawrence. And Cameron, I don't think you've lost a race so far this year. Congratulations. What was that battling like?
Thanks. Yeah, it was pretty tough and really close to the start. Tony messed up a little bit, just left a little early. Kind of a tough situation, but that's racing, I guess. And had a couple close calls with Adam, a little rubbed. I didn't see him in one corner, and we touched a little bit. But overall, I mean, just really good job by the crew and the team. Gave me an amazing car to go, the distance, and the car was great the entire time.
Take a look at the TA2 results from our opener at Sebring. Lawrence defeats Gar Robinson. Loshak gets third over Tommy Archer. Tony Ave comes back to 5th.
Yeah, Tony Ave, after that late race spin, still got a top 5 finish.
Shane Lewis in 7th. Keith, Kennedy, and Sheehan round out the top 10. Michael, how about Tony Buffamani and Adam Andretti? Not good finishes.
No, those are two names that you're going to see win races, though, this year. We saw strong performance. Tony Buffamani had that drive-through penalty. Adam Andretti had some mechanical issues near the end.
Also in TA2, young J.J. Haley, an ARCA Series young veteran, and his first start on a road course. 21st in the field in a Mike Cope car, but he'll be a driver to watch this year as well. Let's meet our TA3 winners. Back downstairs to Shea Adam.
TA3 winner Lee Saunders. Lee, you took it from the pole and kept it the whole way. You got a win to start the season. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really awesome that we got the pole and, of course, that we won. It was crazy out there today. There was battles all over the track in our class. We had passes from all the different classes. It was amazing. We came through without much damage.
Are you proud of your daddy?
One more hat.
He's speechless. Well, congratulations, Lee, and a great start to this championship season.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Kevin Smith with KSR. He's the one that preps my car and actually the second place car, too. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Always nice to have that helper alongside, right?
Yeah, a future race car driver for sure.
Saunders in the Dodge Viper, your winner. Magic in the 71 comes home second. Green and Russ Snow does get credit for 4th.
Yeah, look at all the different manufacturer makes there. You got Dodge, you got Porsche, Corvette, BMW. This is a great class with a lot of diversity.
Todd Napierowski soldiers on and wins in TA3 American Muscle over Fichter, DeSalvo, Mel Shaw, and Fernando Cephralis. Shea Adam has caught up with our TA3A winner.
The TA3A winner is Todd Naparowski. And Todd, you're completely soaked from head to toe, but is it from working hard or from partying hard?
Oh, it feels great. It feels great to get the champagne spray and get back on the podium for the first race of 15. When you're going for the points championship, you want to get off to a good start, and we were lucky enough to get on the podium and win the race. We had a great run. Our crew did a great job, and we couldn't do it without our sponsors. So these are tears of joy and champagne, and we're just happy as can be.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So Todd Napierowski with a great run today. The chase for the Trigon Trophy, meantime, from Three Dimensional Services Group, the season championship. Amy Ruman takes the early lead over Peterson, Fix, Eben, and Kenny Bupp, your top 5.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight battle. I mean, we saw great performance by both Amy and Doug, but we also saw guys up there that didn't get that finish, like RJ Lopez, who had a dominant car.
RJ Lopez, meantime, will try to come back, get his issues resolved. We will be back with more Trans Am coverage from Road Atlanta in the month of May. For Michael McDowell and Shea Adam, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating our winner, Amy Ruman. We'll see you next time.